Let's go live. Hello, and welcome. Hello. This is Total Spotfest. I am JJ. That is Jamie. There's a belt hanging out there. We're going to talk about that in a second. And down below, we have Austin Reddick. How are you gentlemen doing this evening?
Doing well, man. Doing well. How about you?
You know, I live with a champion, and she lets me know every damn day.
She is absolutely your daughter. I mean, we told you this years ago. It was like, yep, that's it. You got a couple miniature Jamies in that house. You know, a couple female Jamies. You know, there's can't claim milkman's son. It's kind of like people look at me, look at my dad, and go, yep. You can't. There's no doubt about it, right?
Yep.
Well, you've actually got. You told me you got a chance to breathe finally, Jamie. I know Jamie's been running burning the candle at 15 different ends over the past month or so.
That is true. And hello, Big Rob. We see you. We love yous. And then hopefully Big Rob will be on my side here in a little bit. But actually, I can typically count on Heather. But no, it's been great. Actually, you know, we had softball. Megan had her very first tournament of the year.
Oh, wow.
This past weekend. So the countdown is officially started for her, which is bittersweet, but I know she's looking forward to it. School's done, everything's done, so like people can sleep in. I don't have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to wake people up and poke and prod them out of bed. It's pretty sweet.
Austin, you were in Dallas all weekend. Denver. Hello, it's a D.
Denver.
It's a six-letter D word. Who cares?
Yeah, but Denver is a much cooler city than Dallas, so I'm glad I was there instead.
It is. I didn't mind Dallas actually when I was there a couple years ago. It was not. I mean, it's Dallas. It's massive.
As someone who spent pert near 3 decades in Houston, I despise all things Dallas, just out of principle. But I was not in Dallas. I was in Denver for both nights of Lucha Libre and Laughs 11th anniversary shows. Fantastic time. Ton of talent on the card. I'm sure it will be released on YouTube at some point in the near future because people are clamoring for it. But when you see it drop, go out of your way to watch Dak Draper and Tom Lawler from Saturday's show because that was top tier pro wrestling. But both nights, up and down, just phenomenal shows. So it was a great time.
If you're not following, I was gonna say, if you don't follow Austin Reddick on Twitter, what's wrong with you? Because he got waterboarded by his wife.
Yes, I got waterboarded with beer. It was unfortunately a Mexican lager and not good old Coors Banquet. But still, the crowd seemed to enjoy me and my tag partner getting teamed up on it and waterboarded by my wife, Miss Heidi Howitzer, the Denver's favorite luchador, Delta Jr., and for you Chikara fans out there, Hollow Wicked and Frightmare. So that was a fun match, and we got a bunch of beer poured on us. Turns out, in case anyone was wondering, waterboarding or getting waterboarded is not a great time. It got a little squirrely there for a minute. Like once it was done with the bandana, and once the bandana got thoroughly soaked with beer, it was a little hard to breathe for a while there. But nevertheless, we survived. We persisted.
I love the way he's got to like qualify it. Okay? Hey, remember the whole thing that back in the early 2000s, like around the time of the 24 TV show, you know, those real big. It's really not fun. Just FYI, in case you were wondering.
Turns out it is a war crime for a reason. I have now done the research.
You've lived the telltale, and I do believe in my heart of hearts, if it was Coors Banquet, you have hulked up. So.
Oh, absolutely. If it would have been Coors Banquet, I would have just done the finger wags, shaking the head. I don't have the silken golden hair of one Hulk Hogan, but I've got the mustache, and it would have propelled us to victory. But they were smart. They went with a different beer, and that's probably why we didn't pull that one out. But
What
you
Mexican
you live and you
lager
learn. You
was
move
it?
on to the next one.
What Mexican lager was it?
It was a local brewery called Ratio Beer Works, who actually
Oh, okay.
it's been a couple years, but Triple L used to run spot shows at Ratio in the summer.
Oh.
I don't know if they've done that in a few years, but yeah, a little local Denver brewery. After the match, you would think I would have been traumatized from the experience, but because I have a solid constitution and fortitude, I had one of those Mexican lagers afterwards, and it was pretty tasty, all things considered.
Colorado beer is fantastic. Well,
I'm sorry you didn't pull out. Pull out of it. As one person who's very accustomed to not pulling out, I get what you mean.
That's a sex joke, guys.
You're welcome.
Well, as we said before, if you have not already, you get a chance, go to Triple L, Lucha Libre's Laughs in Denver, Colorado. It's a fantastic time. We do want to thank everybody for joining us. That wasn't the only wrestling that was to be had this past weekend. AEW had another, the killer pay-per-view company had another killer pay-per-view. We're going to talk about here in just a few moments. We're going to talk about Double or Nothing. But to begin with, because we can get this one out of the way nice and easy. We did have our picks in. We had the belt on the line. The belt is being present here for this year. We've actually got Megan has actually joined us here to hear the results of this, because it is actually going to be very easy, because 3 people on this day has had the exact same card, and one person, me, differed in one match. So our picks are pretty close. This has been a reoccurring theme in the past couple pay-per-views we've had there. But we'll talk about the pay-per-view in just a minute, and I'm just going to get the suspense out of the way, because the only match we differed on was Thunder Rosa versus Deonna Purrazzo on the buy-in. Now, these 3 illustrious folks all picked Thunder Rosa, and one person, who is SMRT, picked Deonna Purrazzo, thus enabling 6 minutes into the entire show, the new champion is none other than me.
But it wasn't in the show.
Yeah, it was on the picks like every other week that we do.
It doesn't count.
Why did we pick it?
Because when people pay to watch Double or Nothing, they pay for the main show, not the pre-show. And if they're on the pre-show, then it doesn't matter, and the match isn't relevant. And if it was relevant, Tony Khan would have put it on the main show. And not to mention, Deonna Purrazzo cheated her way into winning. She was clearly holding the rope, and I think you cheated your way to a win as well, because that match doesn't even count. And you're trying to make it seem like it's this important match that made you champion, but that's not how it works.
It was a match that made me champion.
Card. I had a
No, you did.
card.
You missed one of the matches. I'm looking at the spreadsheet right here. We all picked the match like we do every time. We picked all the matches, including the pre-show matches. It's on
pre-show
the
match that nobody watches.
I watched it.
I'm not sure why we still pick the pre-show matches if nobody watches them. Plus,
well, moving forward, if we don't want to include the pre-show, we can have that discussion. But as it stands right now, that was part of the card. That is a part of the graphics that are released by Tony Khan on Twitter when he puts all the matches out there. We've always had it on the every pick that we've done. It's always been part of the card because it happened to be the one match that was different.
But it wasn't on the official card. It was on the buy-in card. So I think I'm still your champion. You always say I'm not your champion, but
you're not my champion.
That I am. It's very clear that I am.
You are definitely not. I mean, I am looking at the results right here, and I see 3 people with one of the picks fail.
I think that if we should just take the pre-show matches off because nobody cares about them anyway.
We can do that moving forward if everybody's in agreement. I'm totally fine with that.
Now we have to keep it because you're so dead set that you won because of that pre-show match, but now we can't take it off because that's how you're going to win every time.
This pay-per-view I did win. I mean, it is there.
But if we take away the pre-show matches now, then you're never going to win the belt again. Because you only win on the pre-show matches.
If we would have taken away the pre-show, we all would have been the same. Would have gone down the tiebreaker.
But I still would have been the champion because I had the best time out of like
This
all of the
particular
times that
one
we
you
did
would
for the main
have,
event.
but next time might be different. You know, Austin's been pretty good at picking match times in the past.
I
isn't
am
he the
usually
one that
pretty
I beat?
spot on.
Yeah, but I beat him last time. I'll beat him again.
See, here's the problem with all this. That title carries a certain amount of prestige with it. And for someone to go out there, excuse me, I'm getting choked up just because the brother's getting hot about this right now. To go out there and not accept a clean pay-per-view loss and hand the title over, there is a very specific phrase for something like that. And it's called gimmick infringement because you're stealing my pick.
Well, as the advocate of the reigning, defending, and rightfully so champion, I say the only way you can get it is beat her straight up. And pre-shows aren't straight up.
So then, first and foremost,
50-50 on there, and I haven't even voted. Just saying.
well, Twitter polls would be aside, okay? Because that's very scientific. You got going on there with an online poll,
The
okay?
internet doesn't lie.
Neither do the numbers. And Jamie, you are a person that works in data, and I'm giving you a spreadsheet here that very clearly says you are both wrong. And it is our most time-honored tradition here that whenever there is a pay-per-view, if JJ wins it, somebody with a last name beginning with F has to raise a stink in the grandest fashion to try and discredit that win. It's been going on longer than this podcast has been going on. It'll happen long after we're done here, I'm sure. But I am sorry, Megan, you feel that way. You can definitely file your appeal to the commissioner. The belt, as you see on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, is in my corner. It is my pleasure to be your champion. Jamie can give you my address. You can run it by my house whenever you want, Megan. It's all good.
Not gonna happen. I'll see you at Forbidden Door.
What can I say? She's my child.
If this was Austin, I would fully expect that belt to already be in my possession because he is a gracious loser, as we all know. Okay?
I'm not any sort of loser, first of all.
I mean,
Do you not remember? He held on to the belt when I had it. The gimmick.
I don't
infringement
remember
that
what
he
you're
was
talking about. I have no idea what you mean, Jamie. I saw him very clearly. Everybody here saw him hand it over live ahead of Bombs Over Ball, right, Austin? Very gracious.
I did hand it over because I am a role model for the youths.
Oh. Well, Megan,
well,
he could pry it off your hands at Forbidden Door.
Yeah, that's your best. That's your next best chance of taking it from me.
meaning that Jamie or Megan don't want to drive all the way across the metro to give me my damn belt because I am your champion. I will.
No, you're not. You're not the champion.
How am I not the champion? I got more right than you got run. You had more missed matches than I did.
You know, when here's the thing, when I lost, or when I won from Austin, it was on the main card.
Yeah, but that was a technicality.
It was on the main card. And you still held on to it.
But it still counts because it was the main card. That's what people actually watch.
You didn't really win. That was a dusty finish. They just made it look like you win, but it went right back to me. Because I should have won that. You took advantage. I was sick at the time and hopped up on NyQuil. You took advantage, and that's not the right way to win. Now, whether or not JJ won the right way, that's for the suits in Washington to decide. That's not for us to figure out here. But we do have a pay-per-view coming up in a month or so, and it'll get settled then.
I'll just retain it right then, you know? And then they'll find another way to complain about it to hold on to the belt, because that is what the Faulkners do.
What we should do is next week on the show, let's get a Ouija board out and let's summon the ghost of Jack Tunney, and he'll get to the bottom of this.
He would be, yeah.
So
Gorilla Monsoon would too. Yeah. We'll just give it to Jack Perry. Be fine.
We will discuss that later. I got thoughts on that.
Okay, well, it was a pleasure indeed.
Our side.
What?
She's honorary FWO.
Numbers don't lie. Your numbers are wrong. I'm sorry. It's not there. You lost. Whether you feel like you did or not, that's another question. Man, can't help you there.
See you in June.
Guess we'll see you at Forbidden Door.
We will.
Because I'm still your champion either way.
All right, Megan, thanks for joining us.
Right here in my possession is the belt. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, well, we all know who the real champion is, okay? And that belt is present on your screen right now, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't want to include the pre-show, we can stop doing that moving forward. That's fine. But we had this discussion years ago, Jamie, if we should include the pre-shows or not. And it was agreed upon that we did. A pick is a pick.
Tell me essentially what I'm telling. Oh, Jesus.
Exactly, Rock. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
All bits aside, the fact that we all had the exact same card or the same picks for the main card probably means we should keep picking the pre-show.
Oh. But what if somebody wins on a pre-show match next week? What if Megan wins on a pre-show match next week?
I'm just playing both sides here, so I always come out.
I know you. Yeah, he has got no skin in this game whatsoever.
I didn't win either way, so I'm just stoking fires.
I know. I lost to her.
So did JJ. Doesn't count.
All right. Well, we have a show to do.
Peace out. See you at Forbidden Door, JJ.
Get out here, not my champion. What have you spawned from your loins, Jamie? Jesus, man. Come on. Pre-show.
It's like,
yeah, we always have picked the pre-show because, it gives us the most number of matches. And so what? It happened that we got there. A pick is a pick.
You watch out. She might become a part of this show like all the time. She's got free time now. She graduated.
Well, that's fine. You know that I control the technicals of this here. I can mute and block out people left and right. It's totally fine. Okay. I could change this thing up, and you think that you're talking to us, and the world sees myself in Austin. I mean, it's okay.
But can you do like a blur effect? So she's on the show holding the title and it's blurred out, like when Flair brought the big gold belt over to WWF.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That would be a great bit.
Well, I do want to thank you. I do want to thank everybody for joining in here, to watch me take my flowers from a very gracious loser of Megan Faulkner, apparently. But no, I mean, okay, so let's talk about the pay-per-view itself. Because, guys, dude, I mean, AEW, you said this, we've all said this. AEW is the pay-per-view company. Banger pay-per-views, right? And I don't want to put up there, let's rank them all because we can't get to it. But this was just, I loved every second of this show. Probably more than Dynasty, and Dynasty was amazing.
That's a bold statement.
I feel like that typically is a conclusion that's come to after every AEW pay-per-view.
It's hard,
and I think there's sometimes a lot of recency bias in that. I did thoroughly enjoy this show from start to finish, although there were a few things that, and we'll get into talking to in a minute, there were a few things that I thought could have been a little better, but even the stuff I thought that could have been better was still pretty enjoyable. And yeah, like you said, they're the pay-per-view company. Probably because they actually have to sell pay-per-views, so they've got to deliver. But yeah, just once again, knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. Top to bottom. there was really no misses, even though there were some that was like, okay, like honestly, I had low expectations for the Willow Mercedes Monet match, and it wasn't
really?
a matter of Willow's ability. I was just like, okay, they're gonna be super careful with Mercedes, and dude, that match was awesome. Like, I really enjoyed it. I mean,
that was the biggest question going into the pay-per-view. I mean, all this other great stuff going on, but can Mercedes still wrestle? It's been a year, right? And we saw flashes of the old self. Like, remember as Sasha Banks in WWE, the sells that she would do all the time, how over the top. And I mean, she still got it. It's still there. I mean, she's a little rusty, you could tell, but I was very, very happy to see the Mercedes Monet or Money. I have no idea how to say her last name anymore.
Mercedes.
I was very happy to see the Mercedes we saw. 3 women's matches though in total, and so you did have Thunder Rosa and Deanna, which is actually a really good way to start the pre-show. You had Toni Storm going against Serena Deeb. That's probably the most predictable match on the card, right? Everyone. Okay, yeah, right. Mercedes and Toni.
Though.
What do you think about the Chris Statlander turn though?
Perfect, and then more perfect.
So that was one of the misses for me.
Oh,
okay.
Not that she turned, but when and how. That just going, like, we'll just jump right into talking about the biggest question we had going into it. Can Mercedes still go? Turns out in the ring, still very good. I still think she was the lesser half of that match. I thought Willow came out and just looked like an absolute star. Above what we've seen from Willow in the past, which has still been phenomenal. I thought Willow had a little bit more of an edge to her we haven't seen previously. But Mercedes, sure, she did her part. But she starts the match running away like a heel, and the crowd was pro Willow, and they weren't quite booing Mercedes, but when they started trading off, you were getting some boos there. We thought we were going to get what we were expecting was just the full-on heel turn. Give us the heel Mercedes we want. What we ended up getting was a miscue on the Stokely and Statlander part, which, not a miscue like a botch kind of thing, but in the story, that really just kind of led to Mercedes beating Willow clean. Which I know you're moving into a story with Willow and Statlander, but I think you missed a huge opportunity to just push Willow even farther as a babyface by not having Mercedes cheats go over her, or Statlander kind of getting involved directly leading to Willow losing, rather than Willow just kind of losing clean and then Statlander jumping her afterwards. The actual attack itself was very well done and well executed. It got the reaction you want. I just thought that was just such a good opportunity to full on turn Mercedes heel. Because again, she just started the match as a heel and then halfway through just kind of was wrestling from there on out. And then we get to tonight, which I'll have comments on that and maybe even a little knowledge on that when we get to there later. Mercedes is still in this weird in-between place where she's kind of a baby face, but no one really wants her to be. So yeah, I thought the turn, that was one of the things I thought could have been done better. You could have solidified Mercedes as a heel, which everyone wants. You could have made Willow a mega baby face, which she's already close enough to there, but it would have pushed it that much more. But even then, we're getting heel Statlander with Stokely as her mouthpiece, and I'm not sad about that in any way, shape, or form.
I really love that there, and I love the way they kind of did it with the push off of Stokely, and then, oh no, I'm actually with him, and then it was very good. I agree, and we'll talk more about Mercedes here in a little bit when we get to tonight's Dynamite, but I'm just happy that she was able to still wrestle, right? Not quite on like the same level as she was when she was main eventing WrestleMania and shit, but still it's reassuring because she is not good at just surviving as a mouthpiece of a promo work. So
yeah, not at all. But she's still got the goods in the ring, and that gives so much more optimism for whatever's happening going forward. Which again we'll get into later because that was set up tonight. But
now, pay-per-view started with certified banger. It's just any match involving Will Ospreay, just a certified banger from here on out, right? Period. That's it. But you
Doesn't have a bad match.
Open with Ospreay, Roderick, and oh god, it was.
Roddy might be boring, but Homeboy can wrestle his ass off.
Never a question about that. 100%.
The flip out of the end of Heartache was just
dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
if it wasn't for somebody else showing up on the show, it would have made you rock hard. Hey.
So,
yeah.
As we all predicted, Ospreay does get his first title in AEW. He wins the international title. And then after the match, after everyone leaves, here comes Adam Cole in the Adam Cole music, and don't know if this signifies, it kind of hints at, that they're beginning the end of this whole Undisputed Kingdom thing, right? They no longer have any gold, right? War Daddy's doing whatever War Daddy things, I don't know, right? Adam Cole out there by himself, right? And he starts cutting into just an excellent heel promo. Interrupted by Blackout, video package, and our scumbag, MJF, making his return, right?
The triple letter man walking out in the jean jacket with the leather, looking like Triple H when he came back from his injury from his
he is definitely just all right. We're ending the poll, by the way. All right.
He ended it, you punk.
Yeah, you never put a timer on these things, right? You can put timers on polls. It's what you're supposed to do.
I mean, clearly people think you're a cheater.
We'll see. Yeah. Don't care. I'm also champion, so it is what it is. Triple M. I like that. But no, so he comes out, right? And he does he goes to hug him, low blows him, and then cuts just, it's been so good having MJF back. Right. And it's a little bit different edge he took. So it's not, and he said flat out, he's not going to be no more kangaroo kicks, no more this and that, getting back to what got me here. But he's not abandoning his role as a face, it feels like, as well, Austin. Because I know you had big concerns with him when they were doing this sort of, it was a better end result, I think, because of him. But it's sort of the same thing that Mercedes is going through. Face, heel, what are they, right? A face that acts like a heel that is a face, right? But he reveals he got a tattoo. He's officially long-term signed with AEW. He's the wolf of all elite wrestling. He's not fucking going anywhere, He's not fucking leaving. So, MJF's back, boys.
Yeah, this was another kind of miss for me.
Wow.
I think bringing him back was good. But the way they did it, the second Adam Cole came out to cut a promo, because the rumors were there, like that MJ was like, you knew it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
But to come out and then pretend like he's gonna hug, like, dude, when you left, he literally Adam Cole had revealed he was the devil and had been fucking with you for months. And like the fake hug and then the nut shot, like I would have rather seen MJF hit the ring and immediately start beating Adam Cole's ass. And then also, we had just seen the rest of the Undisputed Kingdom out there 8 minutes before. They didn't get taken out. They just got sent to the back. Like, what are Taven Bennett and War Daddy doing? Like, they're just like watching their boy get beat. Hopefully that was just kind of the end of the Undisputed Kingdom. It seems like we're just not getting Adam Cole back full time for a while. I hope they just kind of scrap that, move on from it, and move on to other things. Because Otherwise, it was just kind of washing all that aside and moving on. Which might be the right move, but yeah, I would have liked to see MJF hit the ring, beat Adam Cole's ass, and save the promo for Dynamite. This show was 4.5 hours, and it was an MJF promo and a Jericho 3-way too long. Like I said, he hits the ring, he takes out Cole, stands there, gets his pose in, and then heads to the back, and we tune in Wednesday night to hear what he has to say now that he's back.
I like the promo. Jamie, what do you think?
Yeah.
I agree. No. I think so. Was it too long? Yes. Did it over deliver in some spots? Absolutely. I honestly had high expectations for Swerve versus Christian, and Jesus, that thing over delivered. Like that the kick, the kick reversal with the spear, which is all over Twitter and TikTok and everything. Like Jesus, like that thing is just a thing of beauty.
Mm-hmm.
But you had those moments. Honestly, like the Gangrel spot in Copeland's match after he did he McMahon and like broke his freaking leg because of it, which we'll get into in a little bit. But he like that match over delivered.
I love the hell out of that match. You guys know I'm a sucker for a good bloody gimmick, though. I mean, thing was just it was so violent. I loved it.
It was great, but then you had the 3-way, which was very well put. I mean, I know it's not getting a 3-way, but it was pretty bad.
But we did get Brian Keith. Another proof that Tony Khan listens to our show, because
listen to Austin Reddick. Like he's like, "Yep, this house is gonna be," and it's like, he. Oh yeah. So okay, hold on. Heather's absolutely right. So we've talked about this on the show before. The movie The Warriors is one of my top movies of all time because it's my mom's favorite movie of all time, other than Speed. And like he came out rocking the Warriors shit, like just got me going. All you need was Prisana with 3 beer bottles, like I would have just lost it.
They had that. But, were you in the kitchen?
Huh? Yeah. No, I was helping Audrey.
Oh. Nana came out with the 3 bottles. Christian, come out and play.
I missed that part. I just got it when he came out and he was doing the dance. That's where I was. So,
you missed it. Yeah, that's when I texted you guys, because I thought you were blowing a gasket because it was.
Oh, I blew a gasket when I saw him coming out. I'm like, man, I wish he had bottles, and I literally missed that.
They did a little video package. They did a little video intro thing, and then it led to backlit camera walking forward in the tunnel with Nana there with the 3 bottles going.
Perfect, yeah. But I saw the rest of it, and like, yeah, of course. The time I actually, thanks, Audrey. But
I got a couple minutes. I'll get up for the pay-per-view for a second. You missed that.
I mean, yeah. So that match was top tier. Like, you had all these things, but yeah.
I mean, Chuck, OC and Beretta was fantastic. I mean,
it was.
You'd expect it to be, though.
It could have been on the buy-in. Personally, but it was too long. I think that's the only negative I have on it, but every match delivered tenfold. And anytime I get a celebratory Tony Storm press conference, I'm in.
And then, of course, I don't know. Like, this is the first pay-per-view they've gone over the 4-hour mark in years. Right? Tony's very hell-bent on keeping it under the 4-hour mark. Very hell-bent, right? I think it's because the 5-year anniversary, they just let it loose. And you're right. But that last half hour was the shit show. I mean, Justin Roberts stopping, pausing, taking a second, and then go, "Welcome to the shit show. This is Anarchy in Arena." It was perfect. And then I love... So they just did the New Jack thing a couple weeks ago, right? And they started to do it again. Yeah. And I was like, okay, you guys are overdoing this. But then they made up for it by doing a DJ. They kept switching the music around. No, play our music. And they played their music. It's like, no, play my music. No, that costs us too much. Don't. And then the crowd chanted that they want music. And I mean, you had a man get vehicular manslaughtered on this.
Yeah.
So much. Yeah. This song cost us $200,000. We can't cut it, right? Okada was fantastic in this. Everybody was just great. Jack Perry gets lit on fire, literally lit on fire, and then they string up Darby Allin like he's a fucking like dead cow in Rocky 1, right? Just
So the on the Jack Perry spot, does that make him a liar?
well, apparently, I mean, his pants were on fire. I thought something was up though. You see him come back after he got knocked out from crashing the truck, right?
He's covered in
he is soaking wet, and I go.
But the way they set it up by the quick little throwaway moment where Darby starts trying to drown him in the ice bucket, just to set up him coming back out later soaking wet, was perfect.
Right,
like
you gotta explain yourself if you're wearing all that flame, goop and everything.
And like once you see him get set on fire, you then realize, oh, he's wearing like that protective stuff. But it was just enough to suspend your disbelief that, oh no, he's soaking wet because he got dunked in the ice bath. This match was just fun.
Oh,
and in a way, pro wrestling doesn't get to be very often, but that is one thing AEW does exceptionally well, is just fun spots and gimmick. And this wasn't supposed to be an old school bunkhouse brawl. It was, how much ridiculous shit can we pack into one 30-minute match? And they filled that thing to the brim.
Yeah, they did.
To the brim.
But the Elite do win, and then that leads us into tonight's Dynamite. So we'll be back again with our picks for next pay-per-view is going to be Forbidden Door. We will have a discussion if we're going to include the buy-in matches moving forward. But let's move on. Let's talk about Dynamite. Let's talk about the fallout and the beginning of the build-up for Forbidden Door, Jamie.
Yeah, so this thing opens up with a new TBS champion, Mercedes Mone celebration, and the celebrating for that was going on for multiple nights from that. And I don't know, did you all see the Will Ospreay doing the Mercedes Mone dance?
Yeah, that was,
and with Kyle Fletcher, he's just doing it with Mercedes.
They were doing that. They were doing that while they were in the waiting hall for the press conference, and so he came into the press conference doing the dance and kept going. So it's a thing.
I mean, he's a treasure, ladies and gentlemen. And I have problems with what happened tonight because he is such a treasure. But anyway,
let's talk about Mercedes first.
Yeah, Mercedes. She comes out.
She gives Willow her flowers. She did it in the press conference too. She's one of the best opponents she's ever had. Blah 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 blah. Just doing all the face things, which I don't like from her. And then we find out it was Sky Blue who attacked her.
It was Blue.
Who didn't see that
all along.
Yeah. So then that turned into those two will be having a match later tonight for the TBS Championship. 2
segments here, and I know Austin's got a lot he wants to say.
Yeah.
Sky Blue. I got 2 quick things here before you get into it. All right. 2 quick things are this. I was surprised how much of a reaction Sky Blue got from the crowd. Surprised in a good way. Like I said, I've been pro Sky Blue lately. I think that she is definitely improved upon her in-ring work. Her mysterious kind of dark character leads her to not talking as much, which is good for her. But I was very happy to see her get a good reaction when jumping Mercedes, which is my second thing. I know Austin's going to talk a lot about this. What is she? Is she a face? Is she a heel? Can we make a decision? If you're going to push her as a face, fine. She doesn't. I just draw a line somewhere. You know,
Let-
you're on the biggest beach and there's nobody here. Just put a line somewhere. I don't even care where it is. Just tell me where the fucking line is.
Let me answer that question for you, JJ.
Yes,
Let me,
please.
if I may, spread a little knowledge
I need knowledge on this.
from my
Yeah.
fat stash of knowledge. When you ask what is Mercedes, she is nothing, and that's not what you want in pro wrestling. One, nobody wants her to be a face.
No.
She's not good at being a face. If you want to make her a full-on heel and the crowd still wants to cheer and chant CEO, that's perfectly fine. Like, if people want to support a heel, we've seen that with MJF for the longest time. And if it's over and people are reacting one way or the other, that's fine. Stay the course. But you have to be something. And right now, Mercedes Moné is nothing. Nobody wanted her to see her go out there and give Willow her flowers. We want her to go out and say, I did exactly what I told you was going to do. I beat Willow's ass and took my title. That makes us feel some type of way. To lead into this segment and into the match that followed later in the night, you've got Nothing in Mercedes Moné paired with the personality and charisma black hole that is Sky Blue. And you had a match between the two of them that was a very good wrestling match, but you really don't feel any type of way about either of them because there is no character or personality there. Tony Khan, we know you listen because you put Brian Keith under the learning tree, which we will get to later.
You did.
Please just tell Mercedes to go out there and be a heel like she should be. That's what the people want. That's what the people will get behind. We went from 48 hours ago or 70, whatever it was that Sunday night was, after doing the drive back from Triple L. The last couple days are kind of a blur, getting my sleep schedule back. We went from, okay, damn, she can still go in the ring, back to I'm going to cut a promo and I'm going to pause in between every other word like I'm reading this off a teleprompter. All for a reveal that it was Sky Blue that attacked her, and Sky Blue also cutting a promo that was just like very monotone and just remembering the lines. The match was good. Can we just get good character work as well? Can we give them dedicated roles to make better stories and get that other half of it as well? Because it desperately needs it if that's going to be one of your featured parts of the show. And clearly Mercedes, which I'm sure they opened the vault for her. So like, and she can still deliver in the ring. You want that. You need that. Just let her be a heel. If you want to throw away match with somebody on an episode of Dynamite, just send Anna Jay out there or something and let her be a heel and heel up on Anna Jay. That's fine too. Sky Blue has been getting better in the ring. She still occasionally does I've got to sell to a corner, so I'm going to wacky waving inflatable tube arms and just kind of stagger over there. But they executed some pretty cool moves and spots tonight. Like I said, the match was good. Nobody gives a shit that Sky Blue was the one that attacked Mercedes weeks and weeks and weeks ago. Most of us would have never remembered it if you didn't bring it back up tonight. Give us characters, like give us dedicated roles for the characters. And for the love of God, Tony Khan, make Mercedes a heel because the show will be so much better for it. That is my stash of knowledge for tonight.
That's an excellent set of knowledge. Jamie?
Yeah. So if I could hop in and join in your sentiment here, I've been pining for Sasha Mercedes. I want that heel version of her. I've said it since the beginning. I think all of us really have, if I think about it. And
everybody wants it.
I was one of the people that you said who probably forgot about the whole attack thing. 'Cause I 100% was one of them. I'm like, oh yeah, that did happen. I was like, okay. Yeah. So I think if we can get her straight heel, maybe she joins with Stat and Stokely, and they form a nice little CEO bank thingy. You know,
You're not giving
whatever.
up
They
on
should
Stokely
have
with
done
her.
on Sunday.
Oh
I
man,
love it.
like they
You're
fumbled
not giving
that
up on
bag,
Stokely
huh?
with her. I love it. By the way,
Yeah,
your
yeah.
mic's a little bit off kilter since you had Megan on earlier. You might want to.
Is this better?
That's much better. Yeah, you were a little
Is this
canned.
better?
Yeah.
This is better. Check 1 2. Check 1.
I mean, I keep saying yes, and you can keep doing that. I mean, we can.
I know. I know. I'm just trying to read my teleprompter.
But that's us.
that tells
We are committed to the bit, and that is one thing that they're not with Mercedes.
Well
I
said,
mean,
sir.
because she comes out here like a face, and then does I'll beat a bitch up, and it's like you can't just pull it out of nowhere. If you either you are or you aren't, right? You know that's what's confusion.
Yeah, it's not even like which way she's gonna go. It's just her existing in limbo, and it makes everything she's involved in slightly less interesting, which is unfortunate because at the start of that match on Sunday, the crowd might have been louder for the two of them than they were for anything else.
They were in
Now
it.
imagine if she was a dedicated heel as well, and you had that extra heat in there. They're so close. Just do it. Just pull the trigger.
Just pull the trigger, Tony. Pull the trigger.
Yeah, so hey, we would like to know what you all think about this stash of knowledge, because this was definitely an excellent topic of conversation. We've put a nice little poll out there for you guys. Should she be a heel or should she be a face, or do you not give a shit? Because that's okay too. And my most radio voice ever, right there.
But the match was enjoyable. I did think the match was a good match, and again,
I agree.
You're right. Sky's still getting there, but I feel like she's improved vastly over the past year and a half, right? You know, it's better when she has the accompaniment of Julia Hart. So please get that shoulder fixed soon, Julia, because Sky needs you.
Let's go.
Either that, or if you're not going to put him with Mercedes, put Sky Blue with Stokely and Statlander. The cure for
fits
anyone
very
that
well.
lacks character and personality is just put him with Stokely Hathaway.
I mean, that fits actually fantastic the more I think about it.
Can we
It-
talk
it-
about Stats
yeah.
promo?
Yes, let's talk about it. Let's go right into it.
Really quick, before we get into that, did y'all see Stokely's promo? It was only on the internet, but his promo after Double or Nothing,
I actually didn't. No.
where someone asked him why he turned on Willow, and he goes, "You want to know why? 1, because I'm a hater, and 2, because she deserves it."
Yes. Okay, yeah, I see that one. Yeah. Because I'm a hater. Oh, yeah. Stokely
Stokely
such a
Hathaway is, I think, the closest we will ever get again to Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Okay.
And just his ability to be a heel manager, but still kind of pop you. Like that man's out there doing the Lord's work.
So let's talk about the promo with him and with Chris Statlander, Jamie.
Yeah, so I want your guys' thoughts. This legit surprised me because the last time she talked was not so hot.
It was not too good.
I felt like it was way better than what Mercedes did. Like, way better.
I think so. I mean, I'm not going to qualify it like that necessarily. I feel like it did a fantastic job for something you don't really need explanation for giving us a little bit of explanation, at least a little bit insight into this. Now, they had come out earlier on in the night, post Orange Cassidy, segment, and did a little bit with that. But the backstage promo that they had, Chris has had flashes. Now, again, in the ring, different story. One of the best, right? Love her, fantastic, cool, right? It's just personality of a wall. So seeing her get at least somewhat emotional, and it was very deliberate and very kind of poignant, and I'm more than a woman, I'm the best, fuck you sort of thing, right? Perfect. It's all you really needed to do. It wasn't long, it didn't drag on. You got a little back and forth to Stokely, which is good. It's good. I mean, yeah, I'm with it.
I think having Stokely do the majority of the talking for her is still the move. But she did all right. I think it kind of came up and peaked and then kind of just trailed towards the end.
A little bit.
Well, you're all going to need protection from me. Like, it got a little cliche, but like, you know what? It was better than pretty much any other time we've heard Statlander talk. And she's got Stokely with her, so she doesn't have to do a lot of talking. She can focus on what she does as well as just about any woman in the world, which is step between the ropes. I've been saying for months now, Statlander is the workhorse of the women's division in AEW. If we're not counting Toni Storm, who was just on another level than anybody. But yeah, like, got through it. Like I said, tripped a little bit at the finish line, but perfectly fine. Got the point across.
And then the only one, another one we had on the show tonight was CMLL and New Japan Strong Women's Champion Stephanie Vaquer.
I know it looks like it should be Vaquer, but yeah, it's Vaquer. It's the most generic, amazingly weird spelled last name, and it's Vaquer.
I know, you just throw a Q in a name and it gets all jacked up.
Vaquer guy.
I mean, everybody knows I've been begging for Beth Phoenix with the whole Adam Copeland story for a while, and we're not going to get that. So what's the next best thing? If you don't know who this Stephanie Vaquer is, this is the next best thing. Trust me. She is that Beth Phoenix-esque, she's been on a tear in CMLL, won the New Japan Strong Women's Champion, and is going to be Mercedes' opponent at Forbidden Door. They brought her out here, and maybe it's title for title, maybe it's not. Who cares? I thought that was good.
Yeah, they did the title hold up, like the dueling, holding up their title and stuff. And I'm very much looking forward to the match. But it just goes back to what we were just talking about. I think it would have got a much bigger reaction if Mercedes was one thing or the other and not just like, you like me because I used to be in WWE. I'm kind of a baby. Like, I don't want to go into being full heel. Clearly, a lot of the crowd is not familiar with Stephanie Vaquer, which they will be at Forbidden Door. And if you haven't seen, YouTube is a great resource for that. Check out some matches. Phenomenal in the ring. But I think that moment would have seemed more important, been bigger if Mercedes was a heel.
Yep.
And like, I'm just going to keep beating that dead horse over and over again until she finally just leans into it.
We know that eventually she's going to be heel. She has to be. Like, it's going to happen at some point in time.
Just do it. Let's get there. The show's going to be better. Let's just do it.
Yep. Tony Khan, just go ahead and do this. Mercedes is a full-on heel, and Timeless Toni Storm is a full-on face, because that is how she is treated. Because Serena Deeb was supposed to be the face and got booed out of the damn place because everybody and their mother loves themselves some Timeless Toni Storm, and as they should.
Yeah, we had no Toni
Serena
Storm
Deeb's
on
right
the show
there.
tonight.
Serena's right there in the Mercedes Monet Sky Blue camp of, what are we getting? Like,
she was a heel before she got hurt, remember? Like, full-on heel.
She was a good heel, too.
Yeah, nothing about Serena Deeb says babyface. And that was the one thing that really took away from an otherwise phenomenal match. I thought Serena and Tony had one of the best AEW women's matches this year until later on in the night when there was an equal match. But not having someone with personality to carry that just took away from that match so much. Like, no one cared if Serena was there. No one wanted Serena to win. And if there would have been any character work or personality from her to get you feeling one way or the other, that would have taken that match to the next level. Because, like, technically in the ring, that was, as far as I'm concerned, definitely Toni Storm's best match this entire title run.
I'll give it to you. I mean, and here we mentioned this in the past, but herein lies the grander problem, gentlemen. Other than Willow Nightingale, who's a baby face in the women's division?
Riho.
Yeah.
That's my answer to everything. It's always Riho.
I
What were you
think
saying,
they
Jim?
should do that with Nyla Rose, because of all the stuff that's been going on. In the,
No,
like,
not
you
who,
know, with
not who they
Oklahoma.
can make it, but who is? Nobody. They have nobody else as a face, really, as a real face.
They have Anna Jay.
Is she really a face?
Yeah, she
Yeah?
got the Brody Lee rub.
Yeah, she's the star of the show now, man.
Oh, yeah. They've also spent the last year and a half with her kind of post Jericho Appreciation Society.
Thunder
So-
Rosa's a face.
Are they? Thunder Rosa and Deanna Purrazzo, neither one's a face or a heel. Again, they're both kind of in between.
They're supposed to be faces, but
Yeah,
then
Thunder Rosa has been booked more like the face, which was the only reason I picked her to win on the pre-show. I figured she would be a good one to slot in against Mercedes, who is inevitably going to turn heel and win the title.
then-
Most of that did not end up happening, unfortunately.
But that's my argument. The fact that we're even talking about it is the problem, you know? Willow's a face. Other than Willow, who's an absolute just bang out face? You got to think about it before you even start coming up with answers. That's the problem.
Amy Hayter when she comes back, Britt Baker when she comes back.
Well, but they're not back yet, so I can't include them in the conversation because who knows,
they
right?
will be.
Well, there's rumors and whatever, you know. We'll see. When she's back, we'll talk about her.
But yeah, I think it's just let Tony Storm be the face.
She is the
Which-
face. They just got accepted.
That was we kind of talked about it after the go home show leading into the pay-per-view. It's time to do a different finish with Tony Storm. Like keep her with the title, but let's not just have the Luther Mariah May cheat. We got that. We got Tony Storm winning clean and getting cheered by the crowd. So hopefully this is just them leading into, you know what, the crowd loves her. Let's just let her be this wild character of a baby face.
Yep.
Because the crowd loves her. And instead of trying to make them boo her and cheer these women they care about much less, just let Tony Storm be the babyface. I think it opens up a whole nother avenue for the rest of her run until you decide to do something else with her.
But just to see, Tony wasn't on Dynamite tonight. She's going to be on Collision, I think, this week, and then next week, Mariah May's got a match against Saraya. So we'll have to wait and see what they're going to be doing with her for Forbidden Door. I'm still pining for the Julia angle. My God, if y'all do not follow Stardom at all, at least try and catch some clips when they have their shows.
Julia's in NXT.
I'm sorry,
Thekla?
Thekla. Yeah, I don't even know who I'm talking
Yeah.
about anymore. Right, Thekla.
Thekla.
My God, Thekla is doing the Lord's work over there in Japan right now.
I want Suri. I want her. And
I
Suri.
know you do.
Or
Right.
Starlight Kid. Starlight Kid. Please give me Starlight Kid. Please, for the love of Jesus and everything that's possible. Starlight Kid. Starlight Kid.
I think you want bang for the buck. Thekla, Tony Storm. That would
No,
tear
Mina
the-
Shirakawa, dude. Like,
Mina Shirakawa's the
the-
end. Right? She's in a program with
Mariah
her.
May on a pole match, man.
You gentlemen are way off base. There is only one woman they could bring in through the Forbidden Door to fully make the full Forbidden Door gimmick work and fulfill Tony's wildest dreams. And that's Wendy Richter.
Wendy fucking Richter, let's go.
I feel like because Tony Storm is just so damn untouchable right now. I think she could get an entertaining 10 minutes out of 60 or however old Wendy Richter is these days. I don't know. My
Wendy
apologies
Richter-
if she's younger than that. I'm just guessing by the timelines that she's probably up there. Tony Storm could make that work.
I read a thing on somebody did this that they had either they talked to her at a convention or Comic-Con or something whatever, you know, and they actually brought that up. And she said, no, she has not been contacted by AEW at all.
He's 63 years old.
I was pretty close. I was pretty close. I actually lowered it a bit.
The excerpt from her book that she read that involved Winnie Richter. Oh, anyway, let's get back to Dynamite.
Oh no, I kind of want to go down this rabbit hole of Wendy Richter.
Okay, so somebody on this show said that somebody's doing the Lord's work, and I completely disagree with who he said is doing the Lord's work, because it is clearly the freaking Elite. is doing the Lord's work, because the Elite right now are on a completely different level. The fact that they came in different cars and the big bus that said scapegoat on it, come on now. And then Okada like getting a Lambo and started to fake cry. Oh my god.
Okada starting off the whole segment with talks to the crowd, "Shut up, bitches," which everybody just ate. They just loved it. And they started chanting his name, you know? That's how you could be a heel and still get that's the like Austin was talking about. Right there. There's your answer. Okada's being a heel and the people love him.
Yeah, and if they want to cheer a heel, cool, cheer the heel. But like, just have the character stick to being a babyface or a heel. When I saw announced earlier today that the Elite was going to address the TNT title, which for anyone that is not on the internet and does not know, Adam Copeland broke a bone in his leg when he decided for some reason, instead of splashing Malachi Black off the top of the cage, to just land on his feet and hit him to break the table. He pulled the Macho Man 98, broke his leg, finished the match because he's a gamer and he's going to get the job done. But he is out for a yet to be determined period of time. So when I saw them announce that the Elite was going to address the TNT title, the first thing I thought of was, God, I hope they just hand it to Jack Perry.
Give it to Jack Perry. That's 100% what they
That
need
is
to
the
do.
best heel move ever.
I mean,
and
they all have gold except for Jack Perry. That's
for the people that complain that AEW doesn't tell stories. What a swerve here. Like, you saw it coming. They set it up perfectly. And then, because I assume we're just going right into the segment here.
All right, tits deep in it. Go.
Right before they can officially crown Jack Perry the new TNT champion for pinning Bryan Danielson after being set on fire, which was a heroic act that may not be repeated again in the rest of wrestling history. One Christopher Daniels comes out and says, you know what? Forget the severance package. I have a new job. Tony Khan has made me a temporary EVP. And we are going to have our qualifying matches, and we're going to hang that title above the ring at Forbidden Door, and it's going to be decided in a ladder match. Beautiful pro wrestling TV. Just excellent storytelling.
And side note, those qualifying matches are going to be Continental rules, so it's the whole nobody's allowed at ringside bit, right? And it's going to be a variety of matches. The first one happens on Friday. It's Penta El Cerro Miedo versus
Takeshita.
Konosuke Takeshita.
Yeah, those sons of bitches did it. They got me to want to tune into Rampage because I ain't going to miss that match.
For Jamie, you know how much JJ loves him in a ladder match, man. Oh.
You love ladders matches as much as I love Japanese strong style.
Yes.
Homeboy's watching Rampage. That's all there is to it.
I mean, I watch that match no matter what.
Yeah. So, to your point, the Elite's doing the Lord's work, and the whole setup on this TNT Championship is beautiful. I am really, really interested to see how it goes. I think it's Jack Perry's to win, obviously, and they're going to find a way to get it in his hands, which is chef's kiss perfect, if you ask me.
Yeah, they have to.
But the fact that the way that they're doing it is perfect.
Remind me, is after Forbidden Door, All In's next, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, unless they just throw another pay-per-view out there, which is not out of the realm of possibility, but unlikely.
Yeah. Gives us a good. So yeah, All In would be next. So yeah, I believe it's Jack Perry's to lose.
Speaking of All In, we kind of glossed over that, or we didn't bring it up when we were running down the buy-in, but they brought out Dr. Martha Hart. To announce that the Owen in its third year, the winner of each Owen will get a title opportunity at All In.
At All In.
Which is interesting.
Stakes, man. You got to have stakes.
That's the
They
I
finally
like them
did something
doing
with it.
this. You know, I can do mistakes. They did it tonight with the gauntlet match, which we're going to talk about here in a bit. They've been doing that a lot more. I enjoy it because if you're not going to use the goddamn rankings, which you kept talking about were so important, you make it so that there's something that has some gravity to it as to why you're getting that title. I'm down with that. I like that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Nobody said
Big
anything
time
other than
thing.
heel on our
right.
Mercedes healer face Q&A, just for those of you listening along, wondering.
Yeah.
100%.
All right. So let's actually talk a couple matches, shall we?
Mhm.
Can we talk about Swerve going up against Killswitchosaurus?
It was fine. It was good. It was a good way to start.
It was the
Killswitch-
first official match, and it was not like, I mean, typically they go super banger, and it was super solid, but I wouldn't like say it was like, oh my god.
I don't really think there was any match on tonight's show because there's only 4 matches. I don't think any match on the show was better than the finale. What?
I was gonna say, if you were gonna say there wasn't a banger on the show, I was gonna get really mad at you because
No.
last
I don't
one
think
was
any of the other 3 matches that they had, like, nothing overshadowed the finale, the main event. Like, it shouldn't have. And I think there was, I don't want to call them filler matches, but it was just good, solid matches all around. We talked about Sky Blue and Mercedes already. I felt this was very much the same way. Swerve and Kill Switch is kind of, you got what you expected. It's pretty good.
Yeah. The only thing this match suffered from was there was no way in hell Killswitch was going to win the match.
No way.
But that's
it wasn't
okay.
for the title either.
Yeah, nor should it be. Like, when was the last time Killswitch beat anybody? Like,
Well,
it
true.
shouldn't be a title match. Shouldn't be an eliminator. Sometimes they throw matches out there because, hey, it's Wednesday night. We got 2 hours of TV. Do you want to see Swerve Strickland wrestle? Hell yeah, I do. Here's him wrestling a dinosaur for 10 minutes. I'm down. It was enjoyable. It was, sometimes you do need filler matches. And I appreciate that most of the times when AEW gives you filler, you're getting a solid like 10 or so, and it's not 3 minutes just
Right.
throwaway bullshit. Like, you get a match. And we got to see Swerve Strickland wrestle, which is never a bad thing.
I mean, your filler was Swerve Strickland, your world champion, Mercedes Moné, and John Moxley tonight, Jamie.
Yeah. And if those are fillers, then like consider me stuffed, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, honestly, that the Rocky Romero Moxley match, to your point, solid ass match. It went through one TV, one commercial break, or is it 2?
Something like, I can't remember.
I
think it was
can't
just
remember
one.
either.
Maybe.
It was solid though. Nice, easy peasy, you know, but you know, this show was definitely about that main event and a lot of, I wouldn't say filler, but storytelling. Like everything that they are doing with the Jericho Learning Tree University, the JTU, which is now a shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees.
The #1 shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees. But they bring out Brian Keith, give him a new moniker, which I really enjoy. He started, Brian Keith explained. I like it that Brian Keith didn't immediately turn into like Big Bill kind of, doing the whole like cheesy, like sidekick route works for him. I dig it. Right. And I'm glad they didn't at least initially try to do that with Brian Keith either. But they wanted to Brian Keith explain why he came to the aid of the Jericho Learning Tree. And it was a very logically phrased, sort of like a praise and adoration for Jericho being the man that he is. And nobody here respects you for all you've done, for your years of work, and you've held all these titles. And I'm about making sure you get that respect you deserve. And it explained Brian Keith in a good way. I felt it didn't, just mock him and say, I need help, fix me, sort of bit, right? So it was good. Mm-hmm. And then, and since Brian Keith personally, Austin, we're going to turn to you on this, because then he turns and calls him the bad apple that doesn't fall far from the learning tree. the bad
I love
apple,
it.
Brian Keith. I dig that. What are your thoughts on Brian Keith's involvement here?
I thought it was great. And I said this last week after that 3-way match where he tapped out to both of them. I wanted to see Brian Keith sit under the learning tree because it gets Brian Keith on TV in something that's somewhat interesting. I thought he cut a great promo. They did it, like, to your point, great job of him aligning with Jericho, turning heel in a way that stays authentic to the character. Like,
Right.
what you heard coming out of his mouth is something that jives with what you see of him on TV. And it doesn't always have to be these, like, it doesn't have to be like an epic promo or like these super deep stories. Just give us reasoning for why people are doing what they're doing. We got that reasoning for Brian Keith. We have had the better part of the last year, the Brian Keith we know and love, just the bounty hunter, having fun matches with people, which is great, but this gives you a reason to be more interested in beside him just being cool as shit and you enjoying his wrestling. I thought that was great for him. And I think that's a great pairing. I think there's still room to eventually add maybe one more under the learning tree. But I like that this is vastly different from what the Jericho Appreciation Society was.
Oh, yeah.
When it seemed like he was just latching on to young talents to keep himself relevant, even though this isn't like the on-screen character motivation of what he's doing, this actually seems like Jericho helping some lesser-used talents get over. And I'm 100% here for it.
I mean, Jamie, they call the segment his TV time.
The most self-aware of who he is right now, and we bitched about how he had no clue who he was. And to now flip the script on all of us and basically flip us off and us just eating it up, yeah. Chris Jericho
He's
is the
Chris
man.
Jericho again.
I mean,
And that's a good thing.
long play
Pissed me
Chris
off
Jericho.
a little bit because he got me, you know, because I don't like to get got, and he got me. I'm like, you motherfucker.
You were burning your toys of him. You were abandoning him. You were gone, right?
I mean, I still have the Lion Tamer, so he still got that on me. But, you know, now, like, I'm full invested again.
Unfortunately, we were deprived of more TV time by them giving TV time to Hook.
Yes, but you got Samoa Joe in there, though.
You got Samoa Joe. I just
soften the blow a little.
I don't even think Samoa Joe can save the Hook character. You know, he is just stop trying to. Hook is the AEW's version of Fetch. Stop trying to make it happen.
Stop trying to make it happen.
Stop.
How many times can you keep trying different stuff? Like, it's not there. It doesn't work.
No. You know what does work? Don Callis as a heel. Oh my God. That heat, boys.
Iron Sheik heat.
Don Callis is so good.
That's all there is to it. Like, he had a contract for one Orange Cassidy to be the newest member of the Don Callis family. That didn't happen, did it, boys?
Who knew? To which he tore it up and gave his response. No.
I do want to say I would like this segment specifically and the whole premise of him having an actual contract to join the family. I would like that to be a springboard to bring back the very old school gimmick where managers actually had guys contracted to them. Because like back in the day when I think Slick traded the Warlord's contract for One Man Gang and turned him into Akeem. Like, I miss the days of managers actually having guys contracts and just stables of talent they could trade like their NBA GMs. Bring that back, please.
That's a good throwback.
That is forgotten.
That
is
is
a forgotten thing.
That's old school, boys and girls.
And it just adds that extra wrinkle of storytelling where when you have a guy that wants to turn babyface and quit the heel faction, the heel manager's got his contract. Now he's got to beat someone to get out of it, or they're going to hang it above the ring, or please no, Vince Russo, they're going to put it up on a pole to pull down. Like, there's options there. It's just more fun layers of storytelling.
When you have good managers, that's where it leads into this. And AEW has, Don Callis, Stokely Hathaway. You've got some good people there. Don Callis didn't go away empty-handed tonight, boys. He got himself a new member of the family. That's where Chris Statlander and Stokely were there. They came out, stop that, and said that my real best friend has something to say about that, Statlander told Orange Cassidy, which led into Trent. And if you remember, one of us said that Chris Statlander's being awfully chummy with Trent through this whole, Trent saying, fuck you to the best friends thing. There's some legs with that. But anyway, he comes out, he beats up Bloody's Orange Cassidy, and then him and Don do the best friends hug in the ring. So apparently he's part of the Don Callis family now. Who knows?
Well, what's great too is the little pieces of long-term storytelling. Because when Trent first turned on Orange Cassidy, Statlander came out, asked him, "What the hell are you doing?" We saw Trent whisper something to her, and then walked to the back. And it didn't really get addressed again. But here we are 6 to 8 weeks later. Now she's a heel too, and helping him beat up Orange Cassidy. Like, that kind of stuff is just such a great little addition to the show. It's stuff you don't think about again until it gets brought up later. That's the good way of doing it. Sky Blue being the one to attack Mercedes Moné, not the best way to do it, but they're trying, and I appreciate that.
Speaking of trying, they're really trying to get these damn rankings off the ground again. Because Daniel Garcia said that he wants a shot at Will Ospreay's title, and he's going to climb the rankings in order to take that title. Can we
Good luck there, Daniel.
So, about that, Ospreay is defending the international title this Saturday on Collision against Kyle O'Reilly.
Kyle O'Reilly,
who just lost a title match against Adam Copeland 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
So either have the rankings and stick to them, or don't. I'm good either way, but it's kind of like the Monet meter. Get it to one side or the other. Let's quit right in the middle on that. We should. I'm gonna get some construction paper, or a piece of cardboard, and I'm gonna make a Monet meter, and
do
it week to week. We'll just waver her back and forth.
Do it. You got a spot right there, right beside your between your keyboard and your guitar. Just put it right there, and you can just doot. Kind of like the Doomsday.
By the Hobby Lobby.
It's the Doomsday Clock of Total Spotfest, the Monet meter. All right, let's go to Maine. Let's go to Maine, because that's where that's what everybody wanted to see tonight was the fucking gauntlet.
Understatement, but you also forgot that MJF was not on the show tonight. He'll be on the show Wednesday, and he was called out by Roosh, by the way, with a pretty solid promo from Roosh.
It was not bad.
I mean, I love me some Roosh, so.
I love Roosh too, but it doesn't really matter what you're doing. MJF's going to be there. It's going to draw.
So, but that actually... That brings up a fun question I would like to throw out to the two of you. Given the current landscape of AEW, what do you do with MJF? Where does he fit in?
The TNT title picture against Jack Perry.
I like that. And I'm asking because I legitimately don't have an answer to that question. I've actually enjoyed the product more since he left. And it's not so much that I just don't want MJF on TV. Great wrestler, very entertaining, super over the crowd. You definitely want him there. But I think his absence over the last almost 6 months has just given so many other people a chance to grow. you can't put him back in the title picture now because we're about to get to the main event and talk to where that's going. But yeah, it was just something I was wondering earlier. Like, what do you do with MJF?
Well, I feel like MJF has reached the place in AEW where you can do with him like we've talked a long time with Moxley and with Danielson, right? Where it doesn't matter where they are. It's Moxley and Danielson. They're the draw in and of themselves, right? So whether it is the TNT picture, whether it's the blood feud with Adam Cole and anybody associated with him, or whatever it may be, right? The second part of that answer, unfortunately, doesn't really matter until you get some other things ironed out, because eventually he'll be back in the title hunt, right? He's going to be in the main title picture sometime soon. Sometime, right? But it doesn't really matter as long as you have him there. That's the eyes. You made the investment. He's over as he is. You just got to get him out there, just like Danielson. You don't get a guy like Danielson and sit him on the shelf. You put him up against, I don't know, Okada, Brian Sabre Jr., whoever, right? Sort of what you do with him. Whatever needs to happen in the interim until you're ready to slide him into the title picture.
So the only hang up I see is that Brian Danielson can lose time and time again, and he does. Do you keep MJF still just always winning, or does he start dropping a few?
Have him lose. He really hasn't lost in AEW since he went on his rise.
Yeah, I mean Samoa Joe beat him, but they had to take the title off him because he had to leave.
But before that, when was the last time he lost? It was before he won the title, right?
I would like to see MJF eat a pay-per-view loss when they get around to whatever he's doing next.
Yeah.
I think that adds layers to the character.
Have him lose a few, right? Remember the Kenny spot they did a while back where Kenny was on a losing streak? It was compelling because that's not Kenny Omega, right? Well, new MJF. Here's some of your licks you got, something you have to combat, right? It's not a person like Adam Cole. It's yourself with losing.
And they could do like a choke artist thing. Like he can win on Wednesdays and Saturdays, but when it comes to the pay-per-views, he keeps losing and losing and losing.
Yeah.
And then it could be that rise again,
it's like,
the rise of
like,
MJF.
yeah. It's the Mari Schottenheimer story.
Yeah, he flips to a heel and is like, fuck you guys, and starts doing his old school way to win.
I just hope does not hold that main title again until at least into next year sometime.
Agreed.
There is just too many other people I'd like to see get a run with that belt. And speaking of, we should jump right into the main event that decided who's going to challenge for that belt next.
So when we saw this gauntlet happen in Jacksonville, they did this for the international title, first number one contender. Mm-hmm. We were all like, what is this match even going to be? And then we were all like, why have I never seen this type of match before in my life? This is fantastic. So they bring it back. X number of people, up to 21 potentially, random intervals. First come, first serve. First one to get a pinfall or submission is the number one contender for the world title at Forbidden Door. And
There's total 9 entrants.
And they don't pull any punches when they start. Jay White 1, Pac 2.
Yes, please.
They just
got done. It only kept growing from there.
Yeah. Entrant 3 was Mystico. Like, come on now.
CMLL, for those of you not familiar.
Yeah. Artist formerly known as Sin Cara. For those who really know.
Really know.
And number 4 is Mr. Will Ospreay. The Billy Goat himself. Number 5 was Shota Umino, which I was very excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
Entrant 6, who was my dark horse, not even gonna lie, Claudio Castagnoli. I thought he had a shot. Like, finally, let's get him a shot, because then we know what's gonna happen. That's kind of the way I looked at it.
I want to wait. Before you get to the rest of the list, I love when he came out and they were cutting to a break. So he started to do. If you watch through the break, he started to do the big spin on one person, and then he did it on another person during the break, and then another person, and then another. And he ended up doing it on all of them, and he is so dizzy at the end of it that he goes. This is near the end of the commercial breaks, and there's the referee. Bryce Rensburg's there. He knocks over Bryce and gets him ready to go into the thing, and it's like, no. Claudio. God bless Claudio so much. Sorry, I just had to throw that out there.
So surprise entrant number 7 was Leo Rush, former AEW employee who asked for his release because he said that they were too white or whatever. But still loves it and would love to go back. Interesting. He was entrant number 7. Then you had Orange Cassidy, who was all beaten to hell, which, hey, more power to him. And then entrant 9 was Hechicero from CMLL. And I don't know where to start with this match. I just know it was chaos in the most beautiful, poetic way possible on a Wednesday night.
This was one of the most fun TV main events I've ever seen.
Yeah.
This was like if you were a child and you busted out a tub of action figures and you picked out all the ones that you particularly liked and just had them all fighting each other. It was just some of the best damn wrestlers in the world spamming cool spots for a solid 20 minutes. And then the match itself was just great and fun throughout, but that last 90 seconds or whatever.
Oh, it was
perfect pro wrestling.
There's a lot of really good gimmick matches, and there's a lot of overplayed gimmick matches, right? I hate to say it like this. Sometimes a battle royal, depending on how they do it, can be a little gimmick. It's like, whatever, right? Sometimes you get lightning in a bottle. Like remember when pre Blood and Guts, when AEW did the double ring battle royal. It was kind of cool the first time. They tried it again, and it wasn't, because it was just weird. This was not it. This was just as good as the original one, if not better. It was, I think, to use kind of, to paraphrase you a little bit here, Austin, make my own analogy. It's like that really good buffet, not like the Golden Corrals out there. Sorry. But the really good buffets you go to, right? On a cruise ship or Vegas, right? That have the real good stuff, right? So it just, you got a little bit of that. You got a little strong style, you got a little flippy spinny shit, some high flying, reversals, back and forth. It just was, everywhere you turned was just fantastic looking stuff all over the place.
I love that they didn't announce who was in it ahead of time.
Yes. So
you didn't know who was coming next. You didn't know how many more guys were coming next, and you didn't know when it might end.
Mm-hmm.
It is the perfect nexus of unpredictability to just make a phenomenal gimmick match. And
couldn't agree more.
And there was no filler. There were no guy it's Forbidden Door. It's not a throwaway pay-per-view, but it's kind of a different pay-per-view concept. So it could have been just about anybody, and it could have ended at any time. Just phenomenal booking. Just what a way to end the show.
But it wasn't just anybody, Jamie. Oh, no.
And that's where I feel like they fumbled the bag. Will Ospreay won, ladies and gentlemen, and I completely disagree with that.
I completely disagree with you.
First of all, let me. I want to hear Jamie why. Yeah, Jamie.
So here's why.
Yes, please.
I want Will Ospreay versus Swerve. I just don't want it now, because I feel like Ospreay can't lose right now because he just became champion. Swerve can't lose right now because he's the hottest thing on the sun. It's a lose-lose situation there. Yes, will it get you some extra buys? Probably. but this was a great opportunity to have Claudio. Hell, they could have had one of the CMLL guys, Leo Rush.
Jay White.
Blackheart, that new gimmick's great. Something. And then you save that for All Out, or sorry, All In, All Out. Hell, even the World's End or any of the later ones. This match is special. And I don't know if it's a Forbidden Door. I feel like it's too big for Forbidden Door. That's the whole thing for me. I feel like neither guy can lose right now, and it's too big.
So I'm gonna hard disagree with you there.
All right.
Okay.
And
Austin.
I actually love the fact that Ospreay just won the international title, because we all picked it on the show. We knew he was taking that belt off Roddy, which led you to believe they're keeping him away from the main title for a while. Then he's a surprise entrant in this match. And then you're thinking this is the kind of match where anyone can get pinned at any time. He doesn't have to win here. So you're not sure Ospreay's going to win. And then he does. Where I see this going is Ospreay loses at Forbidden Door and then enters the Owen to get his rematch at All In. And I think he loses at Forbidden Door dirty. And I think we get heel Swerve again, because I think babyface Swerve can't go on for too terribly long.
Okay.
I think Swerve is ultimately better as a heel. By the time we get to Forbidden Door, we've had a solid 6 months of babyface Swerve. But Swerve's a natural heel. He's better as a heel. And I think you're going to see the crowd at Forbidden Door more behind Ospreay than they are Swerve, which gives you more character motivation for Swerve to turn heel, cheat to win. Like, you kind of believe that that guy's still in there that is going to do whatever it takes to win and keep that title. No one expects Ospreay to lose. Just as we were kind of talking about at the beginning of the show, can we pick a no contest or a draw for Forbidden Door? I think Swerve cheating and going over is the most cheating to beat Will Ospreay is the most interesting thing you can do with Swerve right now. Keeps him super hot as a heel. Ospreay's got to fight his way through the Owen to get his rematch, because we're still pretty sure that Ospreay is winning that belt in Wembley. And I think that's a perfect story to get him there.
I mean, a draw on the world title to end your pay-per-view is that's a choice. That's a choice to book. If
Happened multiple times in WWE.
That's why I think Swerve
understand
goes over.
I don't know. I mean, I actually was a little bit surprised that Ospreay won tonight. Because I like you was thinking, not yet. Like, we're waiting for this to be. And he said during the post, pay-per-view scrum that he's putting his hat in for the Owen when he found out he's like, oh, that's what it is. Well, I'm definitely putting my hat in. I am going for every title. I am the guy, right? And everybody that has a pulse in their veins knows that Ospreay is going to main event All In somehow. There's no way he's not. He has to. One way or another, he is going to. And it's going to be ridiculous, just massive. And I like your take on it, Austin. I think that's a good way to go about it. I hope that in our chat, Rob had thrown something out there about the potential of them adding a third person. I hope they don't do that.
Yeah.
Give this story. This is a good story for you to build for this title for All In if you do it in any of those fashions, right?
So Rob just asked in the chat if the plan is for Ospreay to win it at All In, why give him the international title? One, like I was just saying, to throw you off from thinking he was going to be challenging at Forbidden Door in the first place. You thought he was going a different direction with it. But also, AEW has multiple singles titles. Ospreay could carry both, or Ospreay wins the main title at All In, and he relinquishes the international title, and we get another Tony Khan tournament because Tony Khan loves tournaments.
He does.
It gives you so many options. I don't think there's a bad one. I
like the belt collector idea. I like the belt collector idea. I mean, that's how boxing is done, right?
With 2 titles, he wins it All In, and then the 2 weeks later, because they moved All Out, because people were saying we're too close. Now it's like 2 weeks after instead of 1, we get Ospreay and Okada, who's still holding the Continental title at the time. They're clearly hitching their horse to Will Ospreay. I also think having Swerve cheat, turn heel, and beat him at Forbidden Door is a huge feather in Swerve's cap that helps his character. Being able to see he was the one that finally beat Will Ospreay.
What if Don Callis tries to interfere and Ospreay pushes him away and it costs him to lose, when then it would turn into him versus the Callis family?
Same result. Good stuff.
But I think either way, Ospreay loses at Forbidden Door, fights his way through the Owen, and just imagine a heel Swerve in front of 80,000 people at Wembley that are cheering their asses off for Will Ospreay.
Wait, the Owen finals are at Forbidden Door, I thought.
No. The Owen finals are in Calgary. Okay.
Yeah, Calgary.
And then the winner of that will be challenging the men's and women's titles
At All In, right?
at All In.
Yep.
For some other reason, I thought like they had the finals like through.
Yeah, they had to clarify that a few times too, because
Yeah.
the way that Deanna Hart said it wasn't the most clear initially, right? So they had to.
I would imagine the Owen probably kicks off after Forbidden Door because you've got basically all of July and almost all of August to get through that tournament, and that's kind of your summer story is the tournament.
Right. I think somewhere in the middle of the summer you're going to have if they do another Grand Slam, you know. But they're going to end at the Stampede in Calgary.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, to quote one of my favorite satire movies, Walk Hard, a Dewey Cox story. Wrong kid, dad.
Okay.
Nah, I think this is planting the seeds for a Ospreay Swerve story that is going to be phenomenal.
And we want to hear your guys' thoughts too. Give us a comment, hit us up on Twitter. If you're in the chat, throw your thoughts in chat like Rob's been doing. Oh.
For sure.
Well, did you have TNA, WW? I mean, do you have anything else you want to talk about in AEW?
No. I think
we'll jump right over to the other Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you
the
guys
other
have
Forbidden
TNA WWE working relationship on your 2024 bingo card?
I mean, we saw at the Royal Rumble, thought that was just a one-time thing.
Right.
So
They did it with Mickey
totally
James
just
before
wrong.
too. No. Yeah, they are amping that shit up. So beginning with Jordan Grace, who at is it Backlash is the next NXT
Battleground, because they're
Battleground.
They're doing it at the UFC Performance Institute in Vegas.
Yeah. So Jordan Grace challenging Roxana Perez, who didn't want to be told that they're told they're bringing in somebody from outside, and she actually made sure they didn't tell her who it was, so they get her authentic reaction when they brought it out. Just FYI, I read that little tidbit today. But Jordan Grace challenging Roxana Perez for the NXT title. Apparently, Jordan Grace is going to be on 3 NXT shows. She's getting paid a lot of money, and she's going to eventually be in WWE. We all know this, right? And it fits both of them very well. Let's be honest, okay? I love me some TNA. Jordan Grace, man. How about Jordan Grace? Can we just talk about her for a hot second? This woman was getting bullied a few years ago. Everybody calling her pudgy and stuff. So she's like, fine, I'm gonna work out. Fuck you. And then became the monster in the ring that she is. You know, superplexing Bully Ray through tables. It's just, oh my God. Give her
She is the embodiment of Rambo 1 to Rambo 2. Started out puffy and then became more shredded Julian South, man.
Hit the button. I wish those buttons would give you enough sound to hear.
I love everything about Jordan Grace on screen and in the ring. My only problem with Jordan Grace is this was a couple years ago where she was on social media all the time, just constantly hammering the point that she is natural. She was talking about how she got her natural powerlifting card, which is not a thing, first of all. But she was one of those people that was super adamant about, oh, I'm natural, I'm not on steroids. Yes, you are. And you look great, and it's completely fine. No one cares. Just don't, I don't know if y'all are familiar with a gentleman named Mike O'Hearn. He was on the reboot of American Gladiators. He was on Battle Dome, the American Gladiators ripoff back the day. He's a bodybuilder who is in his mid 50s and looks like a Greek god. He's another of those that is always adamant that he is 100% natural. And no, you're not. And no one cares that you are. So just stop lying to us about it, because that's just weird. That small thing aside, I love everything else about Jordan Grace. I am glad that not only is she getting this opportunity, but WE is making her feel like a big deal in the way they never do to outsiders.
Yeah.
I think part of that is because once her contract with TNA is up, WWE wants no chance in hell she jumps over to AEW. But I also think she's probably a better fit for WWE.
Absolutely.
I think she's right in line with like the kind of attractions they want. So it's awesome that they're doing this. Super, super cool that Jordan Grace is getting this opportunity. And I hope she wins the NXT Women's title at Battleground.
I mean, it's not just Jordan Grace. You were telling me about Moose earlier, right?
Yeah,
Jamie,
so earlier today on Twitter, Drew McIntyre was saying he's coming for all the titles or something like that, and posted a picture of him and Moose from back when he was in TNA. WWE partnering with TNA, there is no downside for WWE. Most people that are watching TNA are probably people that have been turned off from the WWE product for some time. It's a great way to bring in some people that probably haven't been too high on your product for a while, in a way where you're treating the talent coming over like a big deal and not just shitting on them because they weren't made in your performance center. So yeah, it's fun, exciting times for pro wrestling, man.
Good shit, man. And that wasn't even the other big story.
No, that's the story I wanted to start with. But go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of went right with Jordan, didn't we? Well,
I had a
free
segue.
agent.
I used it. Okay.
Yeah. So free agent who still says that they are a free agent and hasn't signed anywhere. I feel like that's complete BS. Or they wouldn't be on the show that they showed up on. NXT had finally found out who's been attacking Trick Williams, who's been whooping that trick. And it is none other than all ego, Ethan effing Page.
I never thought I'd see Ethan Page in WWE. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, I thought he fit the model so well. I
thought he did too, but they never seem to have wanted him in every chance they've had, and I'm happy for him. I think it's a good route for him. I think it's very good for NXT, especially. You know, because NXT's been pulling a lot from like the main roster, right? And I know there's not as much of a clear defined line like there used to be, right? You know, it come and go, right? So people like Mia Yim has been up and down a little bit back. It's not that big a deal, right? You know, I get that. But I feel like when you have your own talent, right? And Roxanne Perez and Trick Williams are probably the two biggest names that they have there, right? But you have your own stable of people and you keep that kind of stable in-house. It's nice to do it that way. And I think that bringing in somebody like Ethan Page with his experience of, you know, Impact Wrestling, AEW, ROH, and running his own promotions in Canada, right, cannot be a bad thing for them at all. So,
yeah, the best era of NXT was the black and gold when they raided the indies and brought a bunch of people in that knew how to do this shit.
Yeah.
to a very successful degree. And then they kind of got away from that for a while, and the product suffered for it. And I'm not saying they need to go just raid all the indies again, but you need some people on your roster with some non-WWE experience so you get different ideas, different viewpoints for stuff. Not everything is done in this cookie cutter way that you teach at the Performance Center, which they do they've got great trainers there. They've got great coaches. It's not like they don't churn out anyone that has any talent at all. But when most of your roster are people that you're pulling in from outside of pro wrestling in general, you need those vets. You need those good hands that can go in there and work with anyone you have that you need to get over. I would assume, like you said, he's not there if he didn't already sign a contract. But he's a great addition to your NXT roster. You can anyone you want to get over, put him in there with Ethan Page, and he'll get them over for you.
Yeah. I mean, and to your point there, look at the recent call-ups to the main roster. Who has had the bigger impact? Jade Cargill, somebody who used to be in AEW, or Braun Breaker, who was your anointed kind of, brought up through the channel guy. One of them's a champion, and it's not Braun Breaker.
Well, he's starting to make some noise.
He is, and he's going to be a top guy in there. But I'm saying right now, if you had to put those two in a lineup and say which of these two is a bigger deal, you would say Jade Cargill, right?
I think so. So to be fair, I think if you put Jade Cargill up against damn near anyone on that entire roster, and you say who seems like a bigger deal,
yeah,
Jade Cargill's got that, and also Braun Breaker was an in-house trainee and all that. But it's not like he was brand new to the wrestling business.
Yeah, he's a star. I get it. Yes.
He's a star. So,
but
I get what you're saying.
That's the point I'm just getting at. You're bringing in somebody that has a different, at least has, like you said, the best arrows with people who knew that they were doing, and it conglomerated with everything else. So, Ethan Page in WWE is again just like Jordan Grace. It's a win-win, right?
And from what I read on the internet, so take this for whatever it's worth, the crossover is not done. I mean, obviously they announced Jordan Grace is going to have some matches. She's going to challenge the title, but apparently there is going to be some kind of working relationship going forward that will include sending some NXT talent over to TNA.
Does it feel like WWE is almost positioning themselves? I'm not saying they're going to purchase them, but to utilize TNA as another kind of developmental branch for them.
I think this is going to lead to TNA programming ending up on Peacock.
Yeah.
That's the last catalog out there.
I think this is going to lead to, even if they don't own the library, because at this point, it doesn't matter if WWE owns it or not, putting more wrestling you can under the WWE section of Peacock gets more views there, drives up. Granted, they just signed, they've got deals in place and all that. But I do think the end game there is to get TNA content on Peacock and also just have a place to send people over to get them more work, which is never a bad thing.
I agree.
Rotate your talent out. Like, we don't need to see the same matches over and over again. When you know who I want to see show up in TNA? Now, it just came to my head talking about all this. Baron Corbin. Give me Baron Corbin challenging Moose for the TNA title. I'd be down for that.
Baron Corbin versus Jake something.
Yeah. And so not only can you send your NXT talent, but the guys you've had on the main roster for a while that have just gotten a little bit of stale doing the same thing over and over again, send them over to TNA for a few months. They're still getting work, they're still getting in the ring.
Hypothetically, we could have the long-awaited return of Abyss. Which I loved me Abyss like a son of a bitch, and unfortunately, Joseph Park, his days of playing Abyss are past it. But he's a producer at WWE. You could have Abyss finally return maybe for Hardy's next match that he has at the compound.
You know who else is in WWE that they could send back over to TNA for a little while?
AJ Styles.
No, but yes, but no.
Wesley.
Yes.
Yes, but no. One
Yeah,
half
bring that
of
to
the
us.
current Raw Tag Team Champions, Ron the Truth Killings.
Oh yeah, Ron. Yeah.
Truth and TNA. Yeah.
Are you
I want
talking
to
of
see
Ron?
him
Xavier
show up in
Woods.
TNA and find
Woods.
the guy that looks the closest to the Miz, and him just walk up and ask him where his tag title is because he's just confusing him.
I think you have Austin Creed there and have him walking up and go, consequences, what's going on? Oh, man.
Man, like a lot of fun stuff that could happen from this.
Joe Hedry in NXT makes my heart happy, actually.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good way for
Joe's
WWE
the star I never knew I wanted, man. Not gonna
it's a good way for them to get people that aren't under their banner but are still getting over. Because also you get guys from the indies that signed to TNA. Speaking of TNA contracted wrestlers that could eventually make their way over to NXT, how about Masha Slamovich?
Oh my god.
Yes. I mean,
This could be rad if they do it right.
I mean, Killer Kelly was over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was there at one point in time. Yeah.
Part of the UK brand.
What a fun
Man.
time for pro wrestling.
Oh, dude, so great.
I mean, it's just, there's so much out there. It's so good. And I know sometimes we talk shit on some different stuff here and there. And for the most part, it's all just talking shit. Like, there's a lot of good stuff out there everywhere you turn. WWE stuff is good. Like, I haven't got fully back into like continuously watching, but I peek in a lot more now than I did for the past 3 years, right? And generally when I peek in, I see some good wrestling, you know?
Yeah,
AEW is on fire.
I caught Ricochet and Dragunov on Raw. That was fun, and I enjoyed Braun Breaker running out of the crowd and spearing the shit out of both of them afterwards. That was cool too. One thing, like I don't catch up on the weekly shows. I usually catch the premium live events when they pop up.
Yeah.
One thing I will definitely say, their production has gotten so much better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, that's because of the new like I can't remember what title they gave him, but the head of production, whatever. It's a Hollywood guy they brought in, and it's very obvious. I mean, and Triple H has said many a times, 100%, it's this dude right here. It's all him, right? You know, the long shots, single cams that they're doing. You know, just in general, the production has gotten just looking fantastic.
It feels more like you are watching a sports presentation than a stage TV show.
Yeah. I like if you want to put it in like personified, I still think that like last Monday, not this one or the one before, when they had Jey Uso literally coming from like the very, very back, single shot, walking through, you know, the gorilla position out through the entrance, like that whole long ass shot, dude. Like people ate that shit up, and I'm like, man, this is awesome. Like this is good stuff.
I love
And
them doing that.
It's wild that they're not huge changes, and they're things they could have done at any point in time. Yet they chose for about 15 straight years to do everything the exact same way. And it just got super stale. So it feels like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. It's almost like one man made all the decisions or something. Who knew?
While we're still talking about WWE a little bit, we do need to get to this covers WWE and AEW, the absolute biggest pro wrestling news of the week. A former WWE champion / AEW superstar, Jake Hager, is no longer with the company.
That's right. He really loved that hat.
Jake Hager's big plague in his career has been he can't sustain himself as a character. I mean, outside of
best character work he ever did was wearing a purple hat.
Yep. And he was totally fine when he was doing stuff in the inner circle, but he was part of the inner circle, right? The Real Americans were cool, right? When him and Claudio broke, They had a little bit of time for the two of them to fight each other for a bit, and then that was it. And then he was just there. I hate to say it. Some people are just like that.
Yeah, we actually discussed that longer than I thought we would. I was just trying to be funny.
Oh, okay. All right. I was like, I'll give you.
Yeah. Yeah. I was already done when I was like, he sure did love that hat.
Nope. I am going to give you to cut it. And do you guys think Becky Lynch is going to leave wrestling? She still hasn't signed a deal, and apparently they're not close. It feels to me like she's going to step out.
She's fed forever.
I feel like she's ready to do the mom things. Maybe pull a Trish Stratus bit, where she might come back occasionally here and there.
Yeah, I think she's definitely not going anywhere else.
Oh no, no.
But I think some time away would be good for her.
Okay.
Like the man thing ran its course, and like I think we've talked about it leading up to Rumble and Mania and all that. Becky Lynch had just gotten a little stale. Like they didn't really, after the man thing, when she got super over for a while, they just didn't really know what to do with her from there. So
yeah,
I think go be a mom for a bit, take some time off. When you come back, get that big return pop, and yeah, work a Roman Reigns schedule where you show up, hopefully without the title, but like show up a couple times a year.
Well, as your new title holder, I do want to thank you guys for joining us this evening. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We will be back next week, same bad time, same bad channel, as we begin the road to Forbidden Door. So first kind of like entrance into this TNT title match is going to happen on Rampage, and then we'll have more coming up in the next few weeks. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If it's your first time here, please come back and join us again. We do this every week. If you want to know when that is, you can just hit the little subscribe button down below. Hit the little bell icon, let you know when we go live. Definitely give us a big thumbs up. We do appreciate you guys' support. But we will see you guys next week. Jamie, take us home, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down with Total Spotfest, I got 5 words for you.
I'm not going to like this already, I know.
You're not. Megan is the real champ.
Scoreboard. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Later.